everyone, and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning, and today I'm joined by Pearse and Tommy McLaughlin. Hello, guys.
How you doing?
Ciao.
On today's podcast, we'll be reacting to last weekend's English Premier League results and Scottish Premier League results. We'll be previewing this week's upcoming European matches, and Pearse will share all the latest Asian football news. So, coming up next, we'll talk about the English Premier League results last weekend. So, I'll just quickly go through them. So, that finished Fulham 0, Man United 1, Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 2, Everton 1, Brighton 1, Man City 6, Bournemouth 1, Sheffield United 2, Wolves 1, Brentford 3, West Ham 2, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Aston Villa 0, Luton Town 1, Liverpool 1, and Tottenham 1, Chelsea 4. So, guys, which game for you stands out?
I would probably say the Fulham 0, Manchester United 1. It's probably not the standout fixture for a lot of people, but I think it's
Absolutely not for me. I know.
It eases a lot of pressure on Erik ten Hag for the time being, at least, because he was under a lot of scrutiny. And also there's the incident around after the Manchester derby of Marcus Rashford going out and partying in a nightclub. So he said that to deal with as well. So I think Manchester United have just been a toxic club this season in terms of off the field issues with a number of their players. It wasn't really a vintage performance, but I think just the more important was to get a victory, and that's now reached 50 Premier League wins as a Manchester United manager, which is the quickest one to do so. But no, I think that was just the standing fixture for me, because the fact is he was under severe scrutiny, and I think if he lost that match, you probably might have seen him getting the sack. That's how important that game was. So in terms of the context of that, that's why that's a standout fixture for me this weekend.
What about you, Tommy?
I'd probably say the Chelsea Tottenham one.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I was when I was watching the game, I was like, all right, Tottenham, they've got this in the bag. Easy. Like, they've been playing well all season. And then, a couple of decisions, red cards.
A couple. The most mental game of football I think I've ever watched. Honestly, it was mental.
I think Chelsea took advantage of that whole kind of the decisions that caused Tottenham just to crumble. And I said as well, I was watching the post match call with Ange Postecoglou, and then they're asking him, say, why did you not change your shape? He says, I don't care. Like, we're staying the same. That's the way we play. Said if we had 5 men, we still keep that shape. Still try to keep attacking, because at the end of the day, if you're conceding, you need to keep attacking to try and even make it respectable. So it's his first major bad defeat for Ange Postecoglou, but I feel as if he'll pick himself up, dust himself off, and then he'll change it up a little bit and go back attacking other teams.
Oh, I mean, that Tottenham Chelsea game I watched, it was the most mental game of football I ever watched. I mean, it had everything. It had disallowed goals. It had red cards. It had, I mean, there could have been more than 2 red cards in my opinion. I think there should have been. But it was just crazy. It was so fun to watch, because obviously Tottenham went down to 9 men. But Tottenham, I mean, they were down to 9 men, but they were still playing such a high line, and it was ridiculous, and it was like I couldn't believe Chelsea hadn't scored. I mean, and I was still sitting there thinking Tottenham were going to at least get something from the game. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was so exciting to watch, but probably one of the most exciting matches I've watched in a long time. It just had everything in the match. It was such a good match to watch. It was by far my standout game for the weekend. Just absolutely mental. And everyone here, we all know what Ange is like. He's been up in Scotland for 2 years, and I think the Premier League are just now getting to realise how mental he is, basically. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. But so this weekend, we've had a lot of VAR controversy. I mean, I think it happens every weekend, but In the Newcastle Arsenal match, the goal that Newcastle scored was very controversial. We had Mikel Arteta, the Arsenal manager, after the game, and he had a very, very angry outburst about how it's a disgrace and like it's like VAR is just not working at the moment. It was really directed at the officials. So what do you think? Do you think that he should be allowed to do this? Like managers should be allowed to do this? Or do you think there should be consequences? What do you think?
I think there should be consequences. I think Tommy touched in the post-match press conference of Ange Postecoglou, and he had decisions go against him in that crazy game that you just touched on last night. And it's the power of the man, Ange Postecoglou. I think he just emphasises class because he had decisions go against him, but he says you need to always respect the officials. Whereas Arteta just throws his toys at the pram, starts blaming this and that. Oh, this league's so hard, blah blah blah. Like, there's a way of going about it. There's a bit, show yourself a bit of dignity. They're human beings, and the referees are making mistakes probably more often than they should. But if you look down the table at a team called Wolverhampton Wanderers, they've had many decisions go against them this weekend, this season, and especially this weekend as well, losing. I think it was the 99th or 100th minute against Sheffield United to give them the first win of the season, which was a blatant probably dive, but the referees bought it and the VAR's given it. So he's not the only one. I think just because he's like, oh, I'm Arsenal, I'm in a big club in the Premier League, like, we should be getting a lot more help. But the thing is, it happens all over the board, and VAR is not working at the moment, but it doesn't mean it doesn't eradicate mistakes. But like you say, that decision at the weekend, like, it's probably for me, it's a foul on Gabriel. But in terms of the angles, we're not given all the angles of the goal line to give a definite answer that it is out of play. But from the angles that we've all seen, it looks out of play. So, but at the end of the day, just show a bit more class and kind of towards your officials, because at the end of the day, they're human and they're only doing their job.
Well,
No,
I would have to.
when you go to
Sorry, I would have to disagree with what Pearse said about the ball being out of play. If you look at the physics of the ball might look out of play, but if you're standing over the ball like eagle eye vision, the ball will still be in play. Like, there'll be a bit of the ball still in play. And I feel as if like Mikel Arteta only moans when it goes against him, but when he gets decisions that are controversial for him, he's like, "Oh, human error. Just get over it. It's fine." But when it gets against him, he's like, "Well." Like, literally, look at what happened to Liverpool and Arsenal. That was a dead mad controversial decision, and I would say that Liverpool, I would be going after my nut. But Jurgen Klopp's is actually was like, and sometimes he's just like, well, what can I say? I'll end up getting disciplined, and I'll end up like getting like probably banned for a couple of matches. But Mikel Arteta looks as if he's walking in golden grass. He can do what he wants. You know what I mean? But just because he's got perfect hair, that's why. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, I totally agree, man. I mean, I think Arteta is a bit. I think he's been pulled up for this. I think he has too much kind of, like, what's the word? Like, I think he's too like ferocious. Like when it comes to like attacking the officials and stuff. I've always kind of noticed that. I think he's far too, he kind of loses his plot a bit too easily. I don't agree with what he kind of came out with after the game. It was controversial. I mean, you're going to have people that think that that's not a goal, and you're going to have people that think that it's a goal. But at the end of the day, it's just officials are only trying to do their job. I mean, it's not as if they're. I mean, I hope they are. But it's not as if they're trying to, give the goal to the opposition team. Because they want that team to win or something. You know what I mean? Like it's. End of the day, it's a decision. It hasn't gone with them. And that's the end of it. But like, I mean, Arsenal after the game, they were putting out statements and stuff. I don't agree with that. I think that's taking it a bit too far. The decision, in my opinion, the decision didn't go for you. That's it. End of the day, you can't do anything about it. And I think Ange had a little pop at him last night about the fact that he gets too easily wound up about it. So I think there's a wee bit of a rivalry going on there between Ange and Arteta.
Wonder why.
So no, it's again, end of the day, it's a decision. If it doesn't go for you, you can be upset about it, but I think there's a line, and I think Arteta and Arsenal went over it. And that's what I think. So we also have English teams playing in Europe this week. So I'll just quickly go through them. So in the Champions League, we have Dortmund versus Newcastle, Man City versus Young Boys, Copenhagen versus Man United, and Arsenal versus Sevilla. And then in Europa League, we have Ajax versus Brighton, Toulouse versus Liverpool, West Ham versus Olympiacos, and in the Conference League, we have Aston Villa versus AZ Alkmaar. So, guys, what do you think from the list there? What game you're looking forward to? I know what game I'm looking forward to.
When you look
I think
at
that's I mean, I wouldn't say it's the most amazing kind of list, to be honest, but I don't know. Like, I think that Man United game, because that is literally a must-win for Man United. Like, because they got beat off of Copenhagen. Wait, did they get beat, or was it? No, they didn't actually win the game.
You won one.
I forgot. They won the game. But Man United are still a bit of trouble, I think, in terms of getting through to the last 16. So I think they need to win that game. I think that's quite a big game, that. But I don't really. Maybe Ajax Brighton. Ajax, I think they got a new manager recently, so I don't know. They might have kind of turned a corner. I don't know.
one, certainly not.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's mental. The start of the season they've had. I mean, it's so unexpected. But I mean, for me, it'd probably have to be the Man United game. But don't know what you think. Just have a different opinion. What do you think?
And you go, Tommy?
I'd probably say for me, Newcastle, because I feel as if they'll be wanting revenge for against what happened, because they did play very well against Dortmund. It's just like Dortmund were just like on the counter attack breaking, and they had the big, in Necker, what do you call him, big M Necker.
Yeah.
Put it away, and I feel as if when I was watching the game, Dortmund didn't have that many chances. Dortmund do not create many chances, but when they do create chances, they usually score them. That's the thing. And Newcastle created countless chances, and they've got quality like Almiron that just kind of runs at defences and that. And I did expect more from Isaac, but
yeah, that game as well. By the way, like, that's quite a big game as well. Obviously Newcastle went to. I mean, that'd be a big result if Newcastle went there and got 3 points. But yeah, I agree with you, Tommy. What do you think, Pearse?
I'm going to have to say that Arsenal Sevilla. I do. Obviously, Arsenal got a fantastic win away last time out in the Roman Sanchez Pizjuan. But obviously they've lost a couple of key men since then, and obviously lose at Newcastle weekend, so they'll be wanting to let the wins pretty quickly. And obviously it depends on having players like Martin Odegaard back fit, and obviously they've now lost Gabriel Jesus to injury. So the fact is they've now got Eddie and Nketiah leading the line, so it's going to be a different ball game for them because they're not going to have that potent an attack. And obviously Sevilla did create chances in that match and were unlucky at times, but no, I think that's a standout fixture for me. And obviously I think the other one would be obviously the Dortmund and Newcastle, and obviously Newcastle, if they can get a victory or even a positive result, that'd leave them in a fantastic position to even qualify third or second in the group. Because obviously, like you say, Dortmund at the weekend, they were they were destroyed at the weekend through a Harry Kane masterclass in the Classico, so they'll be pretty vulnerable. But obviously that's set for a thrilling encounter. So no, they two are probably the standout fixtures for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely the Dortmund game, actually, when I think about it more now. Just kind of, obviously, I think Newcastle want to go there and right some wrongs, and I think Dortmund will after the weekend. So we'll just move on to the Scottish Premier League results. So there was only 3 games at the weekend because of the Viaplay Cup Semi-Final, which we'll talk about very shortly. But I'll just quickly go through the 3 results. So it was Ross County 0, Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 0, Dundee 1, Livingston 0. So obviously, really good result there for Celtic. I think Ross County went down to 10 men that game in the first half, which made it a bit easier for them. for Celtic. But I think Celtic got to rest a few players as well for that game, for the game coming up at the today actually at the time of recording this, which we'll talk about very soon. But yeah, really good result for Celtic, and they were really happy with that. And then just another game here for the fact that Motherwell have lost again. I think that's 6 games now they've went without without a win. And they had such a good start to the season as well, so it's kind of went a bit pear-shaped for them last kind of few games. So so a very quiet kind of result set of results in the league this weekend. What do you guys think?
Well, I think probably standout fixture would be the Celtic result. Although it's a pretty one-sided match, in all fairness, because Ross County looked to kind of frustrate Celtic at times, and just hitting the break and use set pieces to try get any real threat in the game. But like you said, within the first 10 minutes to get a red card for VAR, which is a correct decision, but that just throws all hope of going forward out of the window. And then it was just wave after wave. And it took a couple of long-range strikes for Celtic to even break Ross County down, because we're stubborn and they were resolute. And 2 brilliant strikes, one by yourself, David Turnbull, and then Leif Palmer wonder goal free distance, another one of yourself.
What do you think, Tommy?
Well, talking about the Liverpool game, not the Motherwell game, sorry, I should say. Yeah, you lost it, as you said, six on the trot now, and that's nothing to do with the players, because the players have been playing pretty good. There's Bliss Spittle's been in good form, but the top goal scorer's got 3 goals in the league, so they're not really putting away much goals, and the goalkeeper's not been exactly, saving a lot. Because Kelly is usually, like, every season he's usually quite a good Premiership goalkeeper, but that recently he's been absolutely like butterfingers, man. Feels as if he couldn't even hold a jam toast. You know what I mean?
I think with Motherwell as well, I think Kevin Van Veen's, I think they're now realising, what a big miss he is, because the goal she scored for them last season was mental. So I think they are kind of missing Kevin Van Veen, Motherwell. But I did mention the Viaplay Cup semi-final matches. They were played at the weekend. So we now know that the final will be between Rangers and Aberdeen. Aberdeen beat Hibs 1-0 and Rangers beat Hearts 3-1. So we'll talk about the Aberdeen match first. So congrats, Tommy, for your team getting into the final. So what do you think about them? What did you think about the match?
Well, I thought Aberdeen were a wee bit poor in my eyes. They were at the start of the game, the first 20 minutes they were quite good, and then Hibernian just started peppering them with like counter-attacking, just like the defence was getting caught out in that. Martin Boyle could have had a couple of goals. Luckily, the goalkeeper Kelly Roos, my favourite for the man, keeps a clean sheet. You know what I mean? I would say as well, like, VAR decision as well helped them out with that offside decision, because that was very close, like inch, like a centimetre close, like for onside, and that kind of helped bring up the spirit and the morale from the Aberdeen team. And then obviously, big Miovski, Bojan, bang, takes it in, bottom corner. But he could have had another one, getting a wee bit too cocky for himself, runs through with the goalie, and then dinks it and it goes to the corner flag. I don't know what he was trying there. I mean, probably just lost in the newspaper. Oh my God, he dinks the goalkeeper 2-0. Nah. But great result, but we could have performed better, made it harder for ourselves, I would say.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hibs will be kicking themselves, I think, but because I thought they were really good in the match. And they had that goal, I think it was Martin Boyle that scored. And it was just offside. It was margins, but it was such a tight decision. But Hibs were brilliant in the match, I thought. And, Aberdeen to get through that, fair play to them, especially with the amount of matches they played recently. So no, what a great night for Aberdeen. And yeah, Hibs will be kicking themselves, because I felt that, in my opinion, I think they deserve to win. But end of the day, it's not the end of the final, it's Aberdeen. What do you think, Pearse?
I I echo what both of you say. I think I thought Aberdeen were pretty poor. I thought Hibs dominated for large spells of the game. And in terms of the decision Martin Boyle goal, it was pretty similar to the one at the weekend for Celtic against Ross County, Diza Maida. It's so subjective. Like you're not sure if it's off or on. But regardless, we've got to go with what the officials and what the VAR have went with, and it was disallowed. Unfortunate for his because I think they probably deserved that. And shortly after that, Aberdeen sucker punch from the break, caught too many men forward, and Miovski just left Dylan Levitt for sheer pace and fired an emphatic finish at the bottom right hand corner across David Marshall. But no, I think that's a fantastic result for Barry Robson because getting to cup finals is not easy, and obviously with the favourites and the holders, Celtic out in the earlier stages, it's a chance to get a first major silver in these careers as a manager. So, and what better way to do it than beating a big club like Hibs? But I think Nick Montgomery can be very proud of his side's performance. I thought they played really well at times, and you can see they're going to have a bright future under his stewardship.
Yeah. Can I just add before Tom goes? I would have to say Jack McKenzie, really disappointed. That was like a wee Wayne getting kicked in a bit of pram, by the way. A guy shoved him, and you're on a yellow, and you're a left back, and you shove him back. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the guy did make the most of it, but the guy Hibbs was just like winding him up, getting in his head. He's like, you're right, wee man, come here, wee man, shoving him a bit, and then he's just like that. I was like, what are you doing? This is a cup. This is a semi-final. What are you doing? And then he shoves him, and then the guy goes, oh my God, flops. I was like, oh my. Luckily, we didn't lose.
I know. I don't know what he was doing. I mean, why they acted like that, I have no idea. I mean, it was mental. Especially the fact he was on the booking, man. I mean, I have no idea what he was doing. He just lost the plot. And he missed the final now, which will be, that's what happens. Anyway, so obviously we've got the other match. We had Rangers. They beat Hearts 3-1. What do you think? I mean, for me, I thought Rangers deserved to win. I think when Scott Wright came on in the second half, he came on at half time, and I mean, he totally changed the game for them. I mean, he got a goal. Tavernier scored the free kick, but he got the free kick for them because he got fouled just outside the box. But I thought Rangers deserved to win. I thought they were really, really good in the match. And under Philippe Clement, I think they've made a really good start. Under his tenureship, I think it's been really, really good. But yeah, end of the day, in my opinion, they deserve to go to the final. Do you agree? Disagree? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I thought Rangers were pretty dominant. Hearts again, they played each other last week in the Scottish Premiership, and I think Hearts just set up the exact same way. Just far too defensive, and they didn't even try to have a go of it. You're in a cup semi-final, the chance to go to a cup final to win a major trophy. And obviously for a club like the size of Hearts, you expect to go and compete. And the fact they didn't really lay a glove on Rangers. And I thought, like you said, you mentioned Clement's kind of decision making. I think that's been the difference between him and Michael Beale. The fact is he's willing to make those kind of difficult choices in terms of he took off Todd Cantwell at half time and brought in Scott Wright. And Scott Wright merits that by going and scoring again at Hampden against Hearts again. Because he scored obviously in the Scottish Cup Final win under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. And it was a fantastic goal. And then obviously the captain Tavernier as well, just getting 2 set-piece goals, one with a free kick, which is top draw. And then obviously a penalty, which Zander Clark just stood there expecting him in big games and European games, especially where Tavernier would just kind of knock it in the middle. But no, I thought Rangers were very convincing and obviously set for a Grand Slam finish next month. The 17th of December when Aberdeen play Rangers, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's just a week before Christmas, or just a few days before Christmas, the final. So, no, I'm looking forward to it as well. I think it's going to be a great match.
I have to say,
On the goal field.
I would say that it was a right decision to take off Todd Cantwell. And you know where he came from, the mighty Dons, you know what I mean? Mighty Dons. We develop class, we don't develop mediocre, all right?
That's true. That's true.
That you say,
back to haunt the Dons.
I was so upset when he left because he was so good. He might look like one of the characters of Lord of the Rings, but he's a really good footballer. And when we replaced him with Ryan Hedges, and then Ryan Hedges decided to go as well, I'd my password Ryan Hedges 22. You know what I mean? Like I was in love with all the wingers, man. Like Johnny Hayes, I was like, man, here we go. We're just losing all these great players to all these different teams. And then when Scott Wright went to Rangers, I was like, Funcoat, man, he could have just stayed a one club player and stayed at Aberdeen, and we'd have loved you. Just like Considine did, right? Do you not think Considine had offers from Real Madrid and Barcelona? I did, but he turned it in to stay for the Dons.
It'll be some story if Scott Wright scores a winner in the final in December. That'll be
Stars, isn't it?
That'll be some story. But we'll talk about that when it comes to it. So we've got Scottish teams playing in Europe this week. So only 3. So in Champions League, it's Atletico versus Celtic. In Europa League, it's Rangers versus Sparta Prague. And in the Conference League, it's PAOK Salonika versus Aberdeen. So what do you think about the matches coming up?
It's a tough task for Celtic in the Champions League. Away to Wonder Metropolitano. But it could be the omens kind of look bright on Celtic at the moment, because obviously it was on this day in 2012 when Celtic beat Barcelona at Parkhead. So you just never know. But stranger things have happened. But the fact is Celtic have never ever won on Spanish soil, or even picked up a result since 2004, where I think they got a draw. So it's going to be a really monumental task. And obviously you've seen the quality that Atletico Madrid have. But they will be without the suspended Rodrigo de Paul. But they've got a riches of talent, and that's going to be a set for a grand slam finish, because it depends on whether Celtic will progress further into Europe in terms of after Christmas. In terms of the Aberdeen game against PAOK Salonika, I think they were robbed last time out at Pittodrie. And obviously the fact is they just got themselves into a major final in terms of the League Cup. So they'll be very buoyant mood in terms of that. And obviously the fact is Miovski and Duke, they can cause a handful of any defence, and hopefully they can right some wrongs and get a favourable result away in Greece. And in terms of Rangers, I think that, again, similar to Aberdeen, I think they were brilliant at the weekend, and they've been in a very confident mood, taking Sparta Prague back to Ibrox and getting all 3 points, because they were pretty poor in the first leg, and I think they'll be better with the home crowd behind them.
With Scottish European games, I'm going to have to say I agree with Pearse. Aberdeen need to get the good juju back, like, because they were hard done by last time. Because luckily, hopefully Jack McKenzie doesn't kick the pram this time. You know what I mean? Like against mighty Hibs. You know what I mean? But I feel as if we keep playing the way we did at the start of that game for this leg coming up, they're definitely going to trounce them. If we get the decisions going our way as well, we've got better quality than that team. And I would also say that if Bojan Miovski and Duke are on form, there's nothing they can do to stop that. And my Barry Robson, man, he works wonders on the pitch, man, when he's on the sideline. Come on, guys, hype them up and that. And Rangers, as Pearse touched, they're really exciting and really great at just passing about the ball and attacking. And they're one of the most dangerous teams from set pieces I've seen attack-wise, because they've got Tavernier that just, for some reason, just has that in his locker just to put it in the net or even cross it in to make it a dangerous area. And Celtic, we need to win, and it's going to be very hard with the quality of Atletico Madrid have got. But for Celtic to even have a chance to even progress to later stages or even to the Europa League, we need to start racking up wins because I don't think we've even won this group stage. So yeah, it's a good start if we can start with Atletico. That'd be good.
Yeah. Obviously the Celtic game. Celtic are going to have to get something out of that game if they want European football next year. It's going to be such a tough ask for them, but because going to Atletico Madrid away, it's such a tough place to go. Celtic's record away in Europe isn't the greatest, but for Celtic, what they have been improving in this campaign, like game on game. So, you never know. I think they are capable, but it's going to be a tough ask. And Atletico Madrid, they're going to be favourites, and they are favourites, and it's going to be a really tough ask for Celtic. And then the Rangers Sparta Prague game, the last time these two sides played a couple of weeks ago, it was a really poor game. We talked about that in the podcast. It was a really kind of poor game to watch. But I think Rangers have improved since then. I think they've kind of settled under a like Clermont. And the fact that they're at home as well, I do expect them to win. And I think they have to win because I think they want to get out of this group stage. So, so a home game as well for them. So they'll need to win this, and I think they will. And then lastly, the Aberdeen match versus PAOK. Tommy was putting out a plea there, but it's going to be such a tough ask for Aberdeen. It's mental the amount of games they're playing at the moment. They've just come the weekend. They just played a semi-final, put so much into that game. They were doing it 10 men. Now they've got to go away to Greece and play such a really good side. I don't know if Aberdeen have got the, they've got the energy to go there and get something. It's such a tough ask for them to get out of that group now. It was a sickener the fact that they lost at Petroggi a couple weeks ago against PAOK. So I don't expect Aberdeen to get something from that game, but Tommy will have all the belief that it's going to be a tough ask for them. But you never know. You never know. So for the final part of the show, Pearse will now give his Asian football roundup.
Yeah, so there was no J League 1 or K League 1 action this weekend because there was the J League Cup Final and obviously the K League Cup Final as well. So we'll just get straight into the Asian football news. So in terms of the J League 1, there was none football. So Avispa Fukuoka have celebrated their first ever major title win by defeating Urawa Red Diamonds 2-1 in the final of the 2023 J League YBC Levain Cup. Celtic loanee Yusuke Ideguchi was a standout in midfield as the 27-year-old has now won his 8th medal of his career, and the Japan national team boss Hajime Moriyasu was also in attendance. So Pohang Steelers have won the Korean FA Cup final thanks to a comfortable 4-2 victory over Jumbuk Hyundai Motors. Pohang have had a strong campaign to date and have pushed Ulsan Hyundai all the way in the K League 1, but now have a major trophy to celebrate for the hard work and quality they've shown this season. Hajime Moriyasu has been named as AFC Men's Coach of the Year at the AFC Annual Awards Doha 2022. Moriyasu in Japan made history as the first Asian team to defeat 2 World Cup champions in the FIFA World Cup group stage last year. Kim Min-Jae picked up the AFC Asian International Player of the Year award for a successful Scudetto winning campaign in Italy. Also impressive displays for the Korea Republic and Bayern Munich. Paris Saint-Germain and Korean bakery brand Paris Baguette have signed a global partnership for 2 seasons. They both join forces to promote an approach based on excellence and innovation in French culinary culture. Chunan City defender Kim Chan-Soo has announced his retirement. He played for several teams in the K League and the J League and also participated for Korea Republic at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. K-pop girl group Stay C wore Rangers FC tops after a part mix-up in their Texas concert last month. Were they supposed to wear the Texas Rangers jerseys? Last night, Stacey were at Ibrox as they greeted fans with their newfound love for Rangers. Certainly a collaboration I wasn't expecting. But that's all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse, and thank you, Tommy, as well, for coming on the podcast.
Pleasure.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.